Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Samsung Offline Racing League for 2023. We are here at the Kansas Speedway for the 8th race of the season, and Thursday night action for the first time this year, in a points-paying race at least, a bit of a different schedule compared to the norm. It should be an interesting one. Kansas is always an entertaining race. It always provides good racing up and down the field, interesting strategy throughout. Last time we were here, it did come down to late race, tyre strategy in particular, where at first the second place car overtook the first place car. Brandon Bent at the time was second place car. Julio Caesar was the leader at the time, overtook him on pit road, and then Caesar ran him down because he took tyres and Brandon Bent didn't. And I'm looking forward. Hopefully, we see something something kind of similar in terms of the racing, in terms of the strategy tonight. It should be a good one. If I had to guess going in, take a look at the championship standings after the first 7 races. Owen Miles is the championship leader in the number 2. The winner at Atlanta has a 37-point advantage, which is the biggest point advantage that we've had all year at the end of any of the races. So Miles doing a very nice job, avoided a lot of the chaos at Talladega, or some of the chaos at Talladega, but he starts a long way back. He starts I think 40th for this race, so he's got a lot of work to do in that number 2 Buck Racing BMW. James Jefferson, the Las Vegas winner, he's second in the championship rather. He's 37 points behind. And then Noah Clifton, who finished second at Talladega last week, he's quietly moved his way up the order. He is now third in the championship, 39 points back. His teammate Thomas Truxell is 43 back for Team Velocity. He's fourth in the championship. And Ricardo Garcia, he's been very quiet. He's moved his way up into fifth in the championship. He finished third last time out at Talladega. And then we've got 3 winners in a row. Beyond that, Max Davis, Henry Gore, Brad Stover, and then Nicolaus Slaughter is 9th in the championship, and Sebastian Palmer, who starts on the outside of the front row for this race in the number 15, he is 10th in the championship, the winner at Auto Club. So it's been a very interesting season because we've had a lot of different winners, we've had a different winner in every race, we've had a different team winning in every race, and I'm not sure if we'll see that continue tonight. Got a couple of cars who, of course, have won races, and a couple of teams who have already won races. So we'll see what happens here. But one team that hasn't gone to victory lane so far this year is Danger Zone Autosport. And for the second week in a row, one of their cars starts on the pole. This time it's Jared Oren in the number 72. He'll be joined, if I get this working, he'll be joined on the front row, as I mentioned before, by Sebastian Palmer in the number 15. Row 2, Braden Perez in the number 92 for Pacific Racing, and the Daytona winner, James Stack, in the number 23. Behind them, Eli Bright for Collins Racing in the number 12. He starts from 5th. Brandon Beal in the 37 for Ryan Durrani Incorporated is starting 6th. Eli Bright's teammate, John Stewart, starts from the 7th position. And the number 71, our Texas winner, Henry Gore, starts from the 8th position, and they're running out the top 10. The number 13, Stephen Cologne. Good showing in recent times, more speed in recent times. He's starting up at the top 10 again. And Jerry Chen in the number 36, teammate to Henry Gore. So that's the top 10 starting line. We're going to get the cars to roll off for 67 laps. About 100 miles, just a little bit more than 100 miles in length. We'll see. I think everybody should be rolling off, and they are. There is the number 2. So I was talking about our points leader, Owen Miles, leading the championship for Buck Racing. Well, here he is, starting on the penultimate row of the grid. Long way to go for him. Max Davis, who won and has been very good this year, but has had a couple of poor runs in a row, didn't finish Talladega or Texas, and has dropped to 6th in the championship, looking to rebound, but he starts 38th in this race. There's Ricardo Garcia as well, the 33, as I mentioned. 5th in the points coming in, starts a long way back, and so does our last winner, Brad Stover. in the number 29 for Team Velocista. Done a very good season. There are the other two Velocista cars, Troxel and Noah Clifton, 3rd and 4th in the points. Start a bit further back than they would like. The pace cars on pit road. 67 laps of action. Here we go. We're underway. Green flag. We're racing in Kansas. Down the back for the first time, Oren got an excellent jump. Sebastian Palmer did not. He's already back to 4th on that outside lane and 3 wide here. Stephen Cologne trying to get to the inside of John Stewart and Palmer. Backed off for the time being as Jared Oren leads the first lap of action. Here comes the 92 now of Braden Perez to the inside. Of course, Perez looked strong at Texas a couple of races ago. And he's taken the lead on lap 2 already. And Eli Bright's going to try and follow through. They're 3 wide behind. Nicholas Slaughter, Roberto Grant Jr. on the move. And Brandon Beal as well, also trying to get to the inside. But he slots back in a line as Braden Perez leads the second lap. And Eli Bright up in the second spot. Orange slotted into 3rd. Then Stewart, Slaughter, Crown, Stephen Cologne, James Stack getting shuffled there in the 23. He's in the middle, and that's not exactly the best place you want to be. Got the 3 wide back of the pack as well. Slaughter all over the back of the 22. Trying to find a way around it, but couldn't quite there. Perez holding on to the lead. Jared Oren. Jared Oren's been very fast. He was fastest in practice too. So, fast in practice, fast in qualifying. Right now running 3rd as we have a caution on the racetrack. Oh, and it's Watson and Fisher G. I think that is. Yes, it is. Fisher G and Benny Watson. Lots of damage. And Noah Clifton. So Clifton, who came into this race 3rd in the points. Don't think anyone else was involved. It looks like it's just a 3-car shunt. You see the damage there on the 25. Eli Bright. Did he take the lead? No, he did not. Braden Perez held on to the lead, but for some reason Eli Bright and Jared Oren are ahead. I was going to mention, obviously I mentioned strategy before. I must admit, I don't exactly remember how that race transpired from where Julio Caesar and Brandon Ben had that good battle, but you'd think, you see, Perez is staying out, Eli Bright's staying out, Jared Oren coming down rather. And then Slaughter, John Stewart. A lot of cars coming down this time, which is an interesting call for the 2 leaders to stay out. Everyone else is coming down out beyond the top 2. So it's an interesting strategy there for guys like Perez and Bright. Will guys take fuel only? Will guys take tyres? Looks like John Stewart took fuel only because he is going to win the race off of pit road. Brandon Beal, Thomas Troxel, Cement Oskin, Travis Crampton. That's the top 5 off of pit road. As you see the 72 now done, I think he lost a spot to Slaughter. So those guys obviously took tyres. I don't know, I think they probably took 2. There's Palmer off of pit road. So interesting call. Interesting calls already. Strategy coming into play. 25 is going to be able to continue, but a bit of damage on his car, and that's a tough blow. And of course, same can be said here. Fisher G, his season, started off pretty promising. Was up there in the points, and he's going to continue to drop. Man, it's just been a very rough season for Benny Watson. You see the whole right front is torn out of the number 98, and that's happened on the front. That's not surprising. It's the trouble spot, and it looks like it did involve our last winner here. So let's see here how this all starts. I think it'll be Stover into G by the looks of it. And sometimes you do get this here at Kansas where guys just they're a little bit too high up and will slide up and get into and just make a little bit of contact. And you see it just clips the left rear of the 28, gets down into Clifton. Max Davis gets a piece of it, but he'll be okay. Oh, wow! Right on the edge of the safer barrier. So that's how... Okay, so that's ripped them. Wow. A big shunt there. And Benny Watson looked like he was just nowhere to go. It would have been a relatively minor accident if it wasn't for the 28 just clipping the end of that, the start of the safer barrier on the front. Look at the damage on the 98 car. JBL Ford, it's been a really rough go for him. Hasn't been a particularly bad season for NS Racing with their other two cars, but for Watson, it's been a really bad go. So, see, yeah, 29 slides up. Stover slides up. Gets into G. G gets into Clifton, but G is going to, yeah, right there with the right rear, and Benny Watson's just, I mean, you can't do anything about that if you're Benny Watson. A complete bystander. Obviously, Noah Clifton was a complete bystander as well. He did nothing there. Fisher G too, to be honest. I mean, they're all kind of like, well, not really their fault. But the right rear just completely ripped out of the 28. Rips the whole right front out of the 98. Clifton will continue, but that's it for those two. That's a shame. We'll take an onboard here with... the 98, because get a better shot. Kind of get an understanding of how violent that hit was for the 28. Oh, you can't do anything about that. That's just such an unfortunate hit, such an unfortunate place to hit a wall. I can't say I've ever seen that happen. It's in Kansas where someone's actually hit the wall at that kind of spot. I don't think that's ever happened before, but lots of damage on the 28 and the 98. Their days are done. Obviously, Clifton with a lot of damage as well. So, bunch of cars in a lot of trouble. Braden Perez is the leader. So, lights on, and we're good. So, pace car will pull onto pit road this lap. Braden Perez is the leader. Eli Bright is second. Those two guys did not pit at all. So, which is interesting because everyone else behind did, including John Stewart. He clearly took fuel only. He's third. Same with Beal. He's fourth. Thomas Truxell, I just realized, has moved up to fifth. He started like mid-pack. So, good stuff from the 27 there for Team Velocista. He rounds up the top five. Then Cement Oskin. Travis Crampton 7th. 8th is Ethan Lewis. 9th is Paul Antoine-Cyr. And Jerry Chen is in the 10th position. I'm not sure how many of these cars actually took... I'm pretty sure these guys definitely... I'm not sure about Jerry Chen, I must admit. I'm not sure if he took fuel only or he took tyres. I definitely know Schlaughter took tyres in the 20, so keep an eye on him and Jared Oren as they make their way through the field. But, I think they only should have two cars out of the race. Yeah, just the 98 and the 28. Clifton is still out there in the 25, even with the damage. But keep an eye on him because he might hold up a bunch of these guys eventually if we do have a long green flag run. As get back to racing, and Eli Bright is very racy to the inside here of the 92. Straight away for the lead. Of course, he nearly overtook him at the line. Getting back to the caution. Couldn't quite do it. Stuck behind him under the yellow flag, and the 12 has taken the lead, Eli Bright. Thomas Truxell's now up into second, so he's had a very good restart. Same for Cement Oskin. Travis Crampton rounds out the top 5, as that was close. That was very close there. John Stewart really wanted to keep Brandon Beal behind him. But Beal is not going to have a bar of it. He's going to try and get to the inside here of Perez to get into the top 5, and he does. Here comes Truxell, the 27. Trying to find a way around this number 12. Oskin looking as well. Cement Oskin got off to a good start this year and then has kind of just faded as the year has gone on. He is way down in the championship. It's been a really bad year, actually, for Danger Zone Autosport. They have Chase Harris as the highest running car at 27th in the championship. So it's been a really tough year for the 4-car operation. Oskin comes in 29th in the championship, right now running in 3rd. As you see, there's the 41 of Travis Crampton, and now Oskin goes to the inside for 2nd underneath the Thomas Truxell. And I think he should be able to get it. The inside lane is definitely the preferred line here at Kansas. And he does. Of course, as the run goes on, we see a little bit more resistance from the outside, but it's not much. It's not much. The inside lane is definitely a place to be. And how about these Ryan Durrani Incorporated cars? Travis Crampton up into 3rd place. And Brandon Beal going for 4th. So 2-car operation, and both running in the top 4. So yeah, around Troxel, but Troxel slides back to the inside. It's the class of Troxel right there with a beautiful, what we like to call a crisscross underneath of the 37, and Brent Perez takes advantage as well. So as soon as the 37 got up to 4th, he drops back down the order as here comes Samet Oskin trying to get to the lead here underneath of Eli Bright. Eli Bright comes into this race 20th in the championship. He's led a lot of laps this year, but hasn't always got the results to back it up. So right now, and Collins Racing has been a disappointing year for them as a whole, but they do have John Stewart, of course, up here as well. There's Gerard Oren. He is on fresh tyres, or he has at least 2 fresh tyres on that 72. He's moving his way forward. Same for Schlaughter. You got Stephen Cologne back in here doing a good job. Sebastian Palmer, of course, he's 10th in the championship, as I mentioned before. Got off to a rough start, then won at Auto Club, and things have been going well for him since. Running in the top, or relatively well, running in the top 10 in the championship. Single car operation, and right now, I think just outside the top 10 on the racetrack, but with fresh tyres, he's starting to move his way forward a little bit. As Oren tried to get to the inside, John Stewart couldn't quite. This battle for the lead continues. Samet Oskin, and you got Crampton closing in here in the 41, Troxel in the 27. Trying to close back in here as well. As Eli Bright's still at the front of the field. Troxel now looking to the inside. Trying to get to the inside, couldn't quite. Just not quite close enough. Does not have a good enough run here to make a move into turn 1. Once again, the 74 are getting a very good run through the turns. Quite getting enough of a run there. You got a little side, just a little bit of a little bit squirrely there off the turn, and that just couldn't quite, just didn't have enough good enough run there to get to the inside of the 12. As now here comes Crampton looking to make amends to the inside of Samet Oskin here for 2nd, and that's what's going to happen. Oskin on the outside, he's going to drop back to 3rd. Thomas Troxel was really wide, and that was a little close there between him and Perez. No issue though. Troxel to try to get to the inside, can't quite do it. And of course, we saw a lot of double file, 3 wide racing early on. Obviously now with the caution, everything's kind of settled down a bit. A lot of single file, at least at the top end of town. There's Crampton here, the 41. Trying to close in here in the 12 and trying to find a spot. But I tell you what, Eli Bright's doing a good job early on. As I said, led a lot of laps throughout the year, but hasn't quite always been able to pull it off. He'll pull off the good results that he really needs. As here comes Troxel to the inside. He goes to 3rd. Oskin back to 4th. Everyone's starting to close in a little bit. You've got Beal back in here as well, the 37. He's starting to close in a little bit. Oskin trying to go back to the inside here at the 27. Get back up to 3rd, but won't be able to do it right now. Although Troxel a little bit higher. He's more in the middle than on the bottom. And here comes the 74 to the inside. He should be able to make the move, stick here into for turn 2, and he does, as Troxel just gets a little too high out of the groove. Less grip up there, and drops back to 4th. But a good battle here. Top 6, all looking pretty competitive, as now Beal goes to the inside of Braden Perez. And of course the tyres, I did mention the tyres here with these guys, but obviously it wouldn't be having that much of an effect because they only pitted on like lap 5. So yeah, it's not a massively tyre wear heavy track compared to a lot of others, or compared to some others, rather. As Oskin going for 2nd here underneath of Travis Crampton, and slides up a little bit. Troxel going to take advantage here to the inside of both. Crampton drops back to 4th. Oscar now on that outside. As Eli Bright starts to pull away here in the number 12. A little bit of gap as everybody battles. Oh no! Oh no! Oscar blew up and now they're crashing. Crampton and Slaughter and a big hit. Roberto Crown Jr. is involved. Oh no. Oh, big crash, big hit. Slaughter run into by Max Davis. His teammate Fitzwater's involved and Owen Miles, the points leader. Fitzwater was involved in the 24. Oh my goodness. Big crash on the back stretch. Samet Oskin blew up. Joseph Wright with damage in the 99. Travis Crampton. Noah Clifton. That's his second crash. That'll finish him off. Ethan Lewis. Oh my goodness. Caution's out for the second time. And it happened right at the front of the field with Samet Oskin losing an engine. That's a big, big blow as we got another round of pit stops and Oren is going to stay out. Garrett Lamar is going to stay out. Jake Rogers is going to stay out here. A lot of others coming down. Bright, the leader, will follow with this number 12. Let's see what kind of strategy they go for here. They're going to take the right sides. It would make more sense now to take tyres. Obviously, quite a number of laps on them in that run. Some guys are already done. You see a couple of the Whole Life Racing Project cars, and Sebastian Palmer is going to win the race off of pit road. Stephen Colon is second, so I'm assuming a lot of these guys took 2. There's Truxell. Bright either had a very slow stop, or maybe Truxell had a slow stop and took 2 potentially, or I don't know if he took 4 or whatever. Interesting strategy there. So Palmer wins the race off of pit road, then Stephen Colon. 53 of Noon Agbar. And I think James Jefferson is actually ahead of Alejandro Cruz here. I'm not sure what the exact order is. I'll figure that out. Jared Owen, of course, is the race leader. You just saw Samet Oskin disappear, and James Stack has had a very slow stop in the 23. So let's take a look at what happened here, and that was actually Slaughter that disappeared. He took a massive hit. That was bad. That was a very, very bad crash. Let's get it back. Here we go. There's going to be a lot to unravel because this looked like it involved quite a lot of cars. You see, there's the 74. So Oskin's on the outside. I did note he had a bit. Didn't look as fast on the straights as other guys. He had some good runs through the turn, but not so much on the straights. He blows the engine right there. And nowhere for Travis Crampton to go. He just can't slow down in time. Runs into the back, 74, turns him, and Slaughter's in the wrong place at the wrong time. And then it gets really nasty here because Slaughter's going to come back down the racetrack, and Roberto Crown Jr., man. Nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. And then I think there'll be more here. Oh, Dominic Anthony, the 39, runs straight into Oskin. And then it's all on from here. Fitzwater was definitely sideways. You see Davis there. You see there's the 45, 21. Davis runs into the 20. That's a big shot. Miles, McLeese, Stover on the outside. Will Parrish. Kelly Lee. So Lee's torn the whole left front out of the 26. Joseph Wright. So I'm assuming that she ran into someone. Ethan Lewis. Man, this is a big, big mess. Owen Miles ran into it late. And that's it. I mean, that's a lot of cars torn up. A lot of cars torn up. And it's just, man. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, you feel bad for a lot of those guys, particularly guys like Crampton and Oskin who are having really good runs up to that point. Just trying to figure out what actually happened back in here because there was so much going on. So, the 26, I didn't see this. So, 26, where does the 26 end up? It must be Oskin. Yep, bang. Oskin and Joseph Wright. And then Clifton, whoa! Really launched the 99. And you saw Lewis run into it as well. But Clifton really just arca-braked the 99. A lot of ARCA breaks in this one. So many. I mean, that's so ridiculous. How many cars got caught up in this crash? I mean, some of it's unavoidable, but man, that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. A lot going on. Taking on board here with the 20. Slaughter coming into this race 9th in the championship, and well, not much he could have done about this. Bang. That's the first one. And then he'll get finished off here. Oh! Oh! That's all three. You see Fitzwater getting turned as well. That's all three of the Seminole Motors cars in that one. The 6, the 20, I think the 45 was involved as well. Man, that was a nasty, nasty crash. That was a massive hit. That's not the first time Davison has had a massive crash this year as well. Of course, you had that big one at Texas. Got hit in the driver's door. Flew up into the catch fence. Another DNF for him. That's 3 in a row. That's going to be big for the championship. So, lights are out. We'll go back to racing this time. So, Oren's the leader, Garrett Lamar's second, Jake Rogers. They all stayed out, which I don't think is the right call, I must admit, because everyone else is now on got tyres behind. Sebastian Palmer, Stephen Colon, that's your top 5. Noon Agbar, James Jefferson, Alejandro Cruz. How about Logan Williams? He's had a dismal, like a really, really, really bad season. He's 9th at the moment. Good for him. And then Thomas Truxell rounds out the top 10, and there'd be a lot of cars out. Yep, and there are. A lot of cars out of this one. No real surprise there. Clifton, Lewis, Kelly Lee, Owen Miles, the points leader, Max Davis, Dominic Anthony, Samet Oskin, Nikolaus Slaughter, Roberto Crown Jr., Travis Crampton, and Joseph Wright. So we're down to 29 cars on the racetrack. That's how big that crash was. And anyways, we're back to racing. Jake Rogers wasting no time up into second, and he's got his teammate coming to the front of the field here. Stephen Colon, number 13. Right now sits 39th in the championship. He really had a really bad season, but he's had some good runs, as I said, in recent... Well, had a good run at Talladega, as Rogers goes for the lead here in the 9. Good run at Talladega, and started second at Texas, then blew up there. So I'm right now going for the lead here in the number 13 underneath of his teammate. And I love the strategy that Rogers and Oren and Lamar took. I think you needed to come down and get tyres there. You already run about 20 laps on this set. I mean, the left sides have been on the 72 the whole race. I don't think that was the right decision. But anyways, Cologne's to the lead. Rogers struggling. Here comes James Jefferson, who has been kind of quiet in the last couple of races. But, well, here he is up in the 3rd spot. Looking to retake the championship lead with Owen Miles out of the race. He's up in the 3rd. Thomas Truxell. He's also looking to take the championship lead. A couple of these guys up here, of course. Only 6 points separating these two cars. So, and with the way, you know, third and 4th at the moment, that would be enough to tie him on points if Truxell were to get around the 54. But they've got to get around the 9 first. He's very slow, Jake Rogers, obviously, with those tyres, losing a lot of ground to his teammate Stephen Colon, who's actually driving up the racetrack. Here comes Truxell looking to the inside. But Alejandro Cruz up here in the 46. Had some good runs in recent past as well. Moving his way forward, they're 3 wide back in there. Chase Harris on the move as Garrett Lamar is getting shuffled back in the 31. Rogers doing a good job here, holding on a second, considering his tyre life. Unless his tyre life is better than... Unless he took 4 on the last round, and I didn't know that. I don't know. I don't think that would make that much of a difference. But Jefferson's all over the back here. Shouldn't really take that long to get around the 9. But apparently that is the case, and now Truxell's going to try and pounce on the 54. Can't quite do it as Cruz gets past Nuna Agbar, who Nuna Agbar has had a really bad year as well. Started on the pole at Daytona, but he's 37th in the points. I think this would be his best finish of the year at the moment if he were to finish here. Brandon Beal talked about Logan Williams having a good run at the moment. He's in 7th. And for Williams, he's actually his best finish off the top of my head, I think it's either 30th or 31st at Daytona. I don't remember the exact position. That's his best run for the year through 7 races. It's been a horrible season for him. And here he is right now, running in 8th. Good for him. And Chase Harris, and there's Jared on the 72. And there's some of our leaders from before. Eli Bright, Braden Perez back in here, John Stewart, Sebastian Palmer. There's now Troxel going for 3rd underneath the James Jefferson, and they're doing a really good job. Oh, Jake Rogers doing a really good job here. I'm surprised by how well he's holding on in that number 9. Amaris Nichols 1-2 at the moment. Of course, Kelly Lee out of the race, but this is what Isaac Nichols, the team owner, he'd be loving this at the moment. Troxel's got around the 54, and the 54 is falling back as Brandon Beal got past pretty quickly by the looks of it too. Here comes Troxel to the inside for 2nd. So maybe the 54 is just kind of struggling at the moment for speed. He's going to fall back behind Alejandro Cruz to 7th. As Troxel gets around Rogers. He's up to 2nd. Brandon Beal up trying to get past the 9 for 3rd. Looks like he will get it, and he does. Akbar in the 53 with a good run. He's going to go to the inside here. So he's in the top 5 at the moment. He's going to go to 4th. Cruz having a good run as well. Led a few laps at Texas. Quite a number of laps before Henry Gore overtook him, and that was the race right there and then. At that point, Jefferson's fallen back to 7th. Logan Williams, Chase Harris, Eli Bright, the top 10, although under pressure from a couple of Pacific Racing Toyotas here. Echo Evans-Ross and Braden Perez. Closing in here on the 13 as now Brandon Beal looks to the inside of Troxel. And Beal, I mean, he's 19th in the championship, but he's actually been pretty solid. I'd say in a lot of races. But he hasn't had a lot of top 10 finishes, if any, I don't know if he's had a top 10 off the top of my head. I can't remember. But 37, he's had a lot of solid runs this year, but nothing really substantial. Right now running 3rd. That would be a massive, massive help for his championship hopes. As here comes Troxel. Looking to the inside here in the 13. Beal slides way up the track. Troxel all over the back here of the 13 of Cologne. Cologne holding on for the time being. Here comes the 27. He's got a run on the Logitech Honda to the inside. And Troxel should get this 13 out of the way. He clears. He takes the lead. Brandon Beal here closing back in. Top 3 have kind of broken away here from Noon Akbar. Then Cruz is 5th at the moment. That's what I was trying to say. A bit of action back in here. Rogers falling back. Chase Harris with another good run. Finished 4th last week after starting on the pole. He's 3 wide in the middle though because Eli Bright's trying to move his way forward. Teammate John Stewart right behind him. Beal got up to 2nd and now looking to the inside of Troxel for the lead. As now Akbar and Cruz have closed in just a bit. 37 looks racy here. Trying to run incorporated. He's looking, he's poking his way to the inside. Had to back out of it. If he didn't, he was going to slide up and make contact with the 27, I would think. So, probably the right decision. It's a good business decision there for Brandon Beal as here comes the 13 trying to get back into it. On lap 42, by the way, this race has gone a bit faster than I kind of realised. Considering we had such a big crash on the max straightaway on around lap 25, I'm quite surprised by how fast this race actually gone. But anyway, I guess it is only a 100-mile race. As here comes Beal, he got a good run off the turn. Cologne closing back in here, the 13, and Cologne's going to be the one that makes the move. He's on the inside. Beal really does not want to give up that 2nd spot. He doesn't. Good job there on that outside lane. As I mentioned, the outside lane, it's definitely not the preferred line. But as the tyres wear in, we get to see just a little bit more strength from it. Not much, but occasionally can win the war on the outside, or win the battle anyway. Cologne again pressuring this 37. Troxel doing a nice job holding on out in front. And then Akbar up here as well, having a very good run. James Jefferson's closed back in here in the 54, so whatever issues he was having before, looks like they've gone away. There's a long gap back to John Stewart in 7th. It's a good run for John Stewart. He's way down in the points as well. He is 36th in the championship, so that's the way this series works. You've got a lot of guys up here. I mean, like, Akbar's had a really, really poor season. Obviously, Cologne, same can be said for him. John Stewart as well. I mean, he's having a good run in 7th. Eli Bright, his teammates, 8th. Ben Harris, Jake Rogers, and how about Ricardo Garcia in the 33? Just outside the top 10 at the moment, but he comes into this race 5th in the championship. So keep an eye on the Cessna Chevrolet. He's going to the inside. He's had a lot of top 10s this year, actually. In the 33, didn't get off to a great start, but very good stretch of form. Doing him a lot of good. Alejandro Cruz here for the 4th position to the inside of Noon Akbar. And he will get it. No problems at all. Akbar will slot back into 5th. Jefferson 6th. This battle continues. Beal to the inside. He was able to... It was a bit dicey there. Troxel didn't really want to give up the spot straight away, but he has to. No grip on that outside lane, or not enough grip on the outside lane. Beal takes the lead in the Gatorade Ford. And Troxel trying to fight it back. He's also got Cologne. Top 3 have pulled away as they've all, going gangbusters rather, back here. Now Jefferson to the inside in the 54 as John Stewart's closing in. That gap was over a second. How's it gone down so quickly? Anyway, but Stewart's up here. He's going for 6th in the 53. Bryce trying to close in as well. And then it's a long gap back to Garcia, who's now up to 9th. Chase Harris still in the top 10, but it's Brandon Beal leading the way. As I said, this would be a big benefit, a big boost for his championship. It hasn't been a particularly bad season, but it's just been kind of middling at times and hasn't really quite got the results he probably should have. But, doing a good job here. Lap 49 of 67, so under 20 to go. Top 3 have pulled away. Troxel and Cologne, of course. I think Troxel, as it stands, would take the championship lead no matter what, based on these results. But he wants to win. Stuff the championship at the moment. He just wants to win the race. First things first. He goes to the inside here of the 37. Beal trying to fight back. Side by side, down the back. You'll see a little bit more strength off of turn 2 than you do off of turn 4. Cologne's nosying around here in that 13 car as well. He's on the inside of Beal, and Troxel clears. So he retakes the lead here in the 27. So 17 to go, I think. Yes, 17 to go. And Troxel retakes the lead. Stephen Cologne is 2nd. Beal drops back into 3rd. Big gap back to the car behind. Alejandro Cruz still 4th. Jefferson up to 5th. Stewart 6th. Eli Bright's closed in as well. So those gaps were pretty big not too long ago, and yet the 22 and the 12 closed in pretty fast. Akbar's going to drop back to 8th. After running 4th not too long ago. Garcia and Harris still in the top 10. Been pretty calm and composed. And I must say, I think we don't have particularly slow cars here. I mean, Logan Thomas, you sort of got a bit of damage in that crash, but it won't be an issue in terms of lap traffic, so that's good. You'll love to see that. Tell you what, that strategy did not work out for Garrett Lamar. He's just dropped to... He's the last car on the racetrack at the moment in 29th. Did not work out for him as well. The same can be said for Jared Oren. After having such a good qualifying run and a good race car as well. It's not worked out for him. Jake Rogers actually done a pretty good job. Henry Gore up into the top 10 in the 71 as well. So... another driver who's up there in the championship, he's going to benefit. Obviously, Davis out of the race, Miles out of the race, Clifton out of the race. And the 71 now in the top 10. Going to be a big beneficiary. Here comes Beal back to the inside for the lead. They're going to be side by side down the back. Good battle here between these two guys. Beal will clear the 27 and he goes up the racetrack. That's not exactly ideal. Stephen Cologne. How about John Stewart? He's on the charge. That was a I think it was like a 2-second gap. I'm pretty sure off the lead not too long ago, and yet here he is now, well and truly getting himself into the fight. So he did have some fast runs at races like Daytona and Atlanta earlier in the year, but hasn't put it to good use. Right now he's up to 3rd place. So good to see that. Cruz is still up here. Like Bright, of course, he's moving his way forward as well. So the 2 Collins cars doing a nice job. Jefferson fell back really hard because of Ricardo Garcia. He's also moving forward. That gap was well above 3 seconds, and now it's down to 2.5. So 33 gets around the 54. That's also big for the championship. But those 2 guys are up there in the points. We're coming to 11 to go this time. Now, I don't know. I must admit, I don't know off the top of my head the actual fuel range here. But it came in about lap 25, as I said. So that's about 42-ish laps on a tank of fuel. I don't know how many cars are going to get home. I think they should, but I don't know. I don't even know at this point. I think I lost all hope after Auto Club, where some guys just stayed out the whole race. But I don't know. I just kind of lost my mind there. But so I don't know about strategy at this point. Fuel strategy, all that. Troxel here is still in 2nd, but Beal's pulling away. Having an excellent showing. That number 37. Obviously, the race is not over yet. Troxel definitely can reel him in. He's got the added benefit of the slipstream behind the 37. So obviously, the race is not over, but Beal looks pretty strong at the moment. It'd be pretty hard to catch him. Well, it's one thing to catch the guy. It's another thing to pass him. So, but it is Kansas, so it is a racetrack that it is a bit easier to overtake. Stewart, well, maybe that charge has come to an end. He's 3rd. He's slipping up the racetrack. The 22. Cologne's still 4th. That's still a good run for Stephen Cologne. It would be up there as one of the best finishes of the year, of course. In the number 13. Then Bright. Roberto Crown Jr. That's not Roberto Crown Jr. Alejandro Cruz Jr. Wrong Jr. He is still 6th, so good run for him. And then Garcia up to 7th. Jefferson 8th. And then you've got Akbar and Henry Gore. This is a really good run for Henry Gore. I haven't seen a lot of him tonight, but he's moving his way forward at the right time of the race. He might have a go here on the 53. The 53 is going to get to the inside of his teammate. All square at the front of the field, so nothing's changed at the front of the field, so stick with this for the time being as Akbar gets around Jefferson. And now Gore in the 71. Inside the top 10, and he's going to slot back behind Jefferson for the time being. Try to get to the inside. Couldn't quite. Just didn't have enough of a run. And of course, these tyres are getting pretty long in the tooth. This battle's back on. Troxel's closed in here in the 27. It's down to 2/10. This race is far from over. Of course, Troxel finished 2nd at Daytona to start the year. It was a brutal 2nd place finish as he was on that inside lane the whole time. Just could not get a good enough run to get around James Stack in that race. And he's just trying to get close enough to get around this 37. Beal's doing a really nice job driving this car very, very, very well. Although that wasn't the best run through turn 1 there. Don't want to get too low. There's not a lot of grip. The race will end under caution if we do have one now. But I think the field's relatively spread out. It'll take quite a bit for the race to end under yellow as Garcia's on. He's really on the charge. He's going to try and get around Alejandro Cruz here for the 6th position. And obviously Bright's going to go for Stephen Cologne as well. Looks like it's a 2-horse race here between Brandon Beal and Thomas Troxel. Don't think John Stewart has enough to catch up to these guys. Unless they battle, which is entirely possible. Troxel gets alongside. I don't know. I might open the door, potentially. I'm not sure. 3 to go. Beal with a good run through turn 1. And then Not as good of a run off of turn 2 as Truxell closes in, but I don't think Truxell will be able to make that move to the inside. Truxell going high, Beale going very, very low, and Beale, I think, is pitting. Oh, boy. Oh, no. You are kidding me. So Beale pits from the lead, Truxell now the leader. Now it's a matter of if everyone else can make it back. Oh, boy. So Truxell, Stewart, Cologne, Bright. How about Garcia up into the top 5? Bright going for 3rd. Man, that's such a tough break for Brandon Beale. He was having such a good run in this race, and well, it's going to be all for naught. White flag is out. 1 lap to go, and I tell you what, John Stewart's not out of this thing yet. He is there as Beale's off of pit road. Truxell trying to cover. Where did he come from? He was the... Man, I don't even know. Here he goes to the inside. To the inside of Truxell. Through turns 3 and 4, he's going to get him. He's going to clear off the turn, and John Stewart's going to steal one at Kansas. Wow. I thought Truxell had it made after Beale pitted. Where did he come from? John Stewart steals it at Kansas. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Man, he was like he was, I swear he was so far back coming to the white. I don't know what happened there to Truxell in turn 1. He lost so much ground. John Stewart wins his first race of the year. That's Collins Racing. That's their first win of the year. So that's 8 races, 8 different drivers, 8 different teams. But man, Thomas Truxell, can you believe that? I can't. That's crazy. The 22. How about that? John Stewart wins his first race of the year, and Eli Bright finishes 3rd. So 1-3 for Collins Racing. What's been a pretty disappointing year for them. They'll take that, absolutely. And Stephen Cologne 4th. Ricardo Garcia, Alejandro Cruz, James Jefferson finished 7th. So 3 of the guys there, Truxell, Garcia, and Jefferson, up there in the championship, finishing 2nd, 5th, and 7th. And Henry Gore finished 9th as well. He's obviously top 10 in points as well. So those guys will be up there in the championship. Truxell will take the championship lead, I think, I'm assuming. I don't think Jefferson... No, it will be Truxell. Truxell will lead the championship, so... I mean, it's something, but... Man, where did he come from? I swear he was... He was a fair way back. It was like a long way back. He was 4.5 tenths down on the penultimate lap. So, he had a really good run off of 4. And then drives it in pretty hard. Truxell just... Man, I don't know. He just did not... I don't know if he thought he had it made or if he had a... Maybe he was saving fuel. Maybe he was a bit concerned about running out on the last lap. Potentially? I'm just guessing. But John Stewart, I mean, he was flying at the end. I can't believe it. He gets the win. It is his first win of the year. That's... I mean, obviously that's his best result of the year. It's been a really, really bad year for the 22, but... He gets the victory here at Kansas. And how about that? Look down the order. Chase Harris, Paul-Antoine Sierra, Logan Williams in the number 7. Man, shout out to Logan. That is, I know it's 13th, but man, that's almost a win for him considering how bad his season has been. 13th, good job. Sebastian Palmer back in there, Sam Adio. Fitzwater finished 16th even though he got turned. McLeese was up there as 18th as well. So a lot of guys, last winner, Brad Stover, 20th. And then Brandon Beale, man, I tell you what, he drove extremely well. And he ends up 26th. So rough ending for him. Rogers pitted, so did Lamar and Oren. I'm not sure why the 37 had to pit. Maybe he was just going a little too hard on the fuel front. But, yeah, I don't know. And then, of course, a lot of the cars out of the race beyond that. So Wright and everybody else involved in accidents in that one. I think the 71 ran out of fuel because he stopped on pit road. So was tight there at the end. How did John Stewart win the race? I don't know. But he did. He pulled it off. And so congratulations to him and Collins Racing. Upset win here at the Kansas Speedway. We're going to Canadian Tire next time out. I get the feeling that one is not going to be anywhere close to exciting. Or as exciting as we have seen in the quite a number of these races. These races have been really fun. I've really enjoyed them. I've really enjoyed live streaming, seeing people in chat. It's been great fun. And it also makes my life a lot easier. So, yeah, I don't know. We might do more Thursday nights, potentially, because I like doing it this time, actually. So, but congratulations to John Stewart, Collins Racing, winners for the first time this year, and we'll see everybody next time out. Canadian Tire.